Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we're asking the question, what does the perfect gay life look like? So, for many of us, we have grown up in a society, and that society typically has a dream life, wife, kids, picket fence, a dog, a cat, a big job in the city, going on retirement vacations a few times a year, retirement, like it has some standards that is like the gold standard of a life well lived. And thankfully for all of us, even if you're not gay, if you happen to be straight, that's totally okay. I just need you to know that. Like I accept you as a straight person. That's great for you. But even for straight people, that idea of having the perfect life is changing. So now you don't necessarily have to have kids. You don't necessarily have to have a typical 9 to 5 job. You don't have to live in the suburbs. You don't have to, you have the choice to live in an apartment or do whatever you want. For gay people, we haven't really had a lot of opportunities to live a perfectly fulfilled life in the context of our straight society, our counterparts, our brothers and sisters in life. And as a result, the idea of having the perfect realized gay life has never existed. We don't have this concept. We don't have this experience of living in the suburbs and doing the standard, procreation and all of that. And so as a result, thankfully or unfortunately, we have had to make it up as we go. And there is quite a hotly debated topic in the gay world. And basically it is, what kind of life is a good life to live? And by good, I don't necessarily mean morally good or economically good. I'm just talking about what kind of lifestyle and what kind of life in general would you like to live and what would make you happy? For some of us, we do want the stereotypical American dream or whatever you want to call it. I'm from Canada, so we don't have the American dream. We don't have that concept. It's a thing that we understand from movies, but it's not entirely the Canadian dream. Like we don't, it's ambiguous. And so for some of us, like I said, we want kids, a husband, a wife, a partner in general, and that is somewhat of an unpopular take in the gay community. I think many people who have understood gay history, activists fighting for your rights, those kinds of things, think that if you're trying to acquire that kind of life, you are doing a disservice to the gay community. You're being a bad gay if you want to have, a husband and kids and basically have everything that straight people have just in a gay relationship. I don't share that belief. If that's truly what you want to be a dad, you want to have a loving husband, and you want to fulfill that. You want a dog, a cat, a little white picket fence, a nice car, go on vacations. If that is your idea of a perfect life, I think that is so valid. That is totally in possibility. That is absolutely available to you. But for whatever reason, some gay people really go against that and they're like, no, I don't want that at all. And it's fine to not want that as well. It's fine to want it. It's fine to not want it. What's not okay is to somehow say that you're being a bad homosexual for wanting something like that. We grew up in a society where that was the gold standard, 60 years of marriage and monogamy and all of these things. And so it is completely fine to want that. It's not okay to dismiss or say that somehow people who want that are bad or they're letting the side down. If that's truly what they want, let them have it, go for it. Work hard, go to the PTA meetings, get an investment account. Who is to stop you? And I think the reason some gay people have an adverse response to that idea, that ideal life, is because some of the people that are going for that end up to be very conservative in their thinking. They're like, I might be gay, but all I want is a normal life. I don't want to be associated with pride parades. I don't want to be associated with this, that, and the other. And while I understand the distaste for someone who is gay, but holds very conservative traditionalist values, let people live the way they want to. You know, we as gay people would never try and tell straight people how to live. That doesn't happen on the other side. So why would you stoop to that level of telling someone that their dream, their ultimate fantasy, their ultimate, goal in life is somehow letting the side down or being a bad homosexual? I think that's very damaging, and I think if we're going to be the people who don't tell people how to live their lives, we got to stand by that fully. Now, that being said, let's talk about some other gay lives and how they live. So another typical one in the gay community is non-monogamy, having an open relationship, being with multiple people. And I've done videos on this, and even in those videos I've said, if it works for you and it works for your partner, that's awesome. It's not necessarily what I like. You guys know where I'd like to end up, but there is nothing wrong with having that. And there's nothing wrong with having a tight group of people who are your family. They might not be actually your family by biology, but they're your family. They're the people you choose to be in life with. And having an open relationship, living in an apartment, maybe having a cat or some plants, or, fulfilling what you want in that sense, in a non-monogamous, ethical relationship, there is nothing wrong with that. That is a dream that many of us have, to have someone we love, but not feel tied down. And just like how the first dream I was talking about is poo-pooed and dismissed and said, oh, that's disingenuous, like, we're gay, we need to act differently than straight people. Just like that, the idea that I just talked about in the second dream, the idea of being in a non-monogamous relationship, living your life, enjoying your friends, not having children, that is totally fine. And I hear a lot of the more conservative gay types say like, oh, that's awful. You could never have a non-monogamous relationship. Like, that's terrible. It's not good for you. We're meant to be monogamous creatures, blah, 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 blah. You're doing the same problem. Like, we're literally at the same issue. I feel like both of these dreams are quite at odds with each other because they disagree on how we should behave and how we should carry ourselves. And so proponents of both of these dreams, for some reason, dislike each other and they don't get along, and they're like, oh, it's such a stereotype, like gay people just can't settle down, blah, 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 blah. And so we lead to the same problem where we have people basically telling each other how to live and how they should behave, how they should act. Like, it's frustrating. And what's even more frustrating is we have the straight community looking in on this debate going like, these guys don't know what they want. These guys are silly. We can't let them have rights. We can't let them get married. And so this inner debate that we have within the community as a whole is quite damaging, because at the end of the day, you just have to go back to the gold standard and treat others how you'd like to be treated. Respect others how they want to be treated. Nobody is demanding that you live in a non-monogamous relationship. Nobody is demanding that you get married at 22 and have kids. It is a choice. If you find somebody who lights up your world, who you love, and you want to make a future with them, and you have the same goal in mind, you guys get to work together to build that. You are two consenting adults who get to choose the future you want. And as long as both of you are genuinely on board with the same vision for your life, don't let anybody tell you you cannot do it, it looks bad, it's immoral, you're going to hell, like all this garbage. Your true realized vision for your life can be whatever you want. Some of us in the LGBTQIA community don't want a partner at all. It is fine to be aromantic. It is fine to be asexual. It is fine just to not want a long-term partner. I know I go on about this a lot, but it's because I am a romantic person. I'm into that kind of stuff. I want that. And I talk to a lot of people who want the same thing. So there is nothing wrong with living a gay life in the suburbs with kids, in an apartment with your pets and plants, by yourself, just living your life, enjoying your friends and your hobbies and your interests. And I get really sick and tired of the American dream getting shoved down our throats. I get really sick and tired of people telling me that a non-monogamous relationship is what I should have, because I know myself. I know that that's not for me, but I'm also not going to judge people who want that. And I'm not going to say, oh, they should just settle down. They haven't met the right person yet. I'm not going to do all of those straight stereotypes. If you have a vision for your life and what you want it to be, you can try and find somebody who shares that vision, or you can just go for it yourself and do it. And do not let people, whether they're straight or gay, tell you that your dream is somehow wrong or immoral, because we have survived way too much of that in recent history to let it actually affect how we live our lives. At the end of the day, if you have a vision for your life, if you have a dream, it is valid. It is what you need to work for and work hard for and reach every day towards it. And you cannot let people detract or influence you to say, that's not what you want, this is what you need. No, you know yourself, you've lived your life from your perspective. No one else on the entire planet can say that. You get to be what you want to be. And I don't like this hypocritical thing within the gay community where we're trying to tell each other how we're supposed to live our lives and how we're supposed to feel about things. Because at the end of the day, it comes back to you knowing who you are and what you want. That's all I've got to say. You know, the gay dream is alive and well. Continue advocating, defend people who need defending, advocate for the people who need advocating, and live your life. The rest is all white noise. It's irrelevant. So thank you for listening. Let me know what your gay dream is down below. What do you want in life? Do you want a husband? Do you want a girlfriend? Do you want several? I'm not here to judge. No one is here to judge. So if you see something that you don't like, remember, it's just not your cup of tea. There's nothing wrong with that. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a beautiful day, week, month, year, century, millennium, whatever you're having. I hope it's really gay and really amazing. And as always, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.